This meeting is being live streamed. Oh my God.
There we go. We figured it out. Finally.
You didn't discuss this with me.
What is this, episode like 12 now or something like this? Or
13? About that 12, 13, something like that. We're on chapter 10 of the book, but I think we had at least one episode that was not on chapter. And I think one of them we did for one chapter, we did 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, and then we had a guest.
Oh yeah.
We had a guest one time episode as well. All right. Well, I guess we're live. So this is live on everything. I hope.
Oh no.
I think.
I thought this was just between you and me, Earl. I thought this was our little secret.
We record this for fun and then just watch in the hot tub.
We're going to let other people in on it?
No, okay.
All right. If you think that's right.
There you go.
Okay, so this is episode probably 13, maybe 14 of Earl and the Idiots.
We'll have to put the fancy intro in on posts somehow.
Yeah,
so that's why I still recorded on Zoom, because I don't know how to do it live on the Facebook and everything else. And actually, I have no idea how to check all these things at once. I guess I have to open up Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything all at once to see what the hell is going on. Obviously, we're streaming novices, so we clearly know what we're doing.
We need to have a title card. Welcome to Earl and the Idiot.
Oh my God, that's amazing. There you go.
Professionalism is our middle name, obviously.
Straight up class. Excellent.
So those who are joining us for the first time, I'm not Earl.
I'm Earl. So I guess that makes you.
Which limits my options. I am the idiot. I'm here to ask dumb questions. And as we like to say on this show, that's the only way you get smart, is by being willing to ask those dumb questions. If you're willing to be an idiot, you might end up learning something and maybe improve your idiot status, which is what I'm hoping to do. Excellent. This is our resident Earl. Earl.
Hi. I'm the Earl of Earl.
Earl's the guy with all the answers.
Not to be confused with the Duke of Earl, although that's my new nickname in my new networking group, the Duke.
The Duke. I like that. The Duke of Earl.
That song's better than the other one where Earl's Gotta Die. I don't like that one.
What's that?
There's a country song called Earl's Gotta Die.
Oh no.
So I'm like, I don't like that one.
Yeah, no, Duke of Earl's way better. Go the Duke. I might have picked up a nickname among some of my other colleagues. We were talking about typing, like learning to type, just sort of like, remember how you have to actually learn to type? Used to have to actually learn to type, and now kids just
born knowing how to type.
And I mentioned that, I probably shouldn't tell you this because this will be my new nickname, as if being called the idiot wasn't bad enough. I mentioned how when I first started typing, I was really good at typing with like these fingers, and the pinkies were like not really working for me.
All right.
And so I trained myself in typing to just raise the pinkies up and type with the other fingers.
Oh my God. So you're like English style drinking tea.
Yeah. And now when I type, if I'm typing for like a long time, if like I'm typing a whole page of stuff or a few pages of stuff, my pinkies actually get sore from like being held up in the air.
Oh my God.
And they're like, we're going to call you Pinky from now on. I was like, oh, that's
no.
Awesome. Really happy about that.
I had a skating accident where a skate almost cut off my pinky finger.
Oh my God.
So they put me in this casty thing, and my pinky stuck out like this. And it was like this permanently because it's got a big metal thing holding it up. Yeah. And so I took the cast off, and every time I take a drink, it's always just very, very proper with the pinky up. And like, oh wow, you're really proper when you drink. No, that's just how it broke. So
there you go.
All right.
So we'll see if that sticks. Anyway, so we are basically been going through all the chapters of your book. Do you have a copy of it? I just have the my handwritten messy notes.
I do. We're on the end, right?
We're the last chapter now. Yeah.
Increased pricing.
Everyone's
pricing go up.
I was going to announce that in a second, but I just wondering, do you have a copy of the book to show the good people?
Oh, I don't have the physical.
You know the nice cover. Okay.
It's in the back somewhere.
All right, but is the book Business Engine Optimization all about fine-tuning the engine, which is your business, to make you the most money in the shortest period of time, I assume?
Indeed. That's how it works. Here, I can do this. I can share my screen, and I can share the book cover. Ta-da!
There it is.
Cover.
Dun, dun, dun.
Business
handsome devil. Look at that.
That's right. So Photoshop does wonders. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
Share screen over. So
live filters. Oh yeah, we have. I forgot about filters. We're gonna play around with filters.
Maybe later.
So we're on chapter 10. Those of you tuning in who want to see the earlier chapters, we're working on getting those out on these same streams, so they're available. But they're all out there. They're all recorded. This is actually the last chapter, so I'll have to come up with something clever to do after this. Last chapter is increase pricing. Why is that the last chapter?
It's the last chapter because for me and a few of the other coaches who are part of this program, it's one of the harder things to get customers to do. It's like you have to increase your prices, and they're just so loathsome to do it. We even came up with like a whole structure that talked about how much you'd have to increase your prices before you started to lose money, before you started to lose clients. How many clients could you afford to lose before increasing your pricing was negative to your business? Right. And even with that, people were still freaking out as to how much you'd have to lose. Like you have to lose like X number percentage of your clients. I'll see if I can bring it up. There's a presentation called 6 Ways to Grow Your Gross Revenue, and I'll bring it up. And it's pretty insane. It's just like you have to lose like a good chunk of clients. Like you have to basically make everybody mad at you. You have to lose 25% of your customers over a 10% price increase to break even. And if you increase your price just a tiny little bit and you lose more than a quarter of your clients, you've had like no relationship with them at all whatsoever.
Yeah, clearly there was no loyalty there.
So
you're basically a gas station at that point, right? Where there's another gas station on the opposite corner,
right?
And whichever's 2 cents cheaper, they're going there.
Well, it's like the battle of the Asian restaurants, right? Like, you go to one Asian restaurant, your dish is like $4. And one guy goes, "Oh yeah, well we'll sell it for $3.98," and everyone goes over to the other one for $3.98, and then, "Oh yeah, well we'll sell it for $3.96," and everyone goes back to the other one. So there's no like actual loyalty back and forth when you're just fighting over prices. It's just a race to zero, and then nobody wins, right? Because then nobody makes any profit in the end, and you're both fighting over crumbs, right? So in terms of like price increase, obviously increasing the price of your stuff is important, right? We had this one client, they were doing 1,000 transactions a month, and I said, "Hey, well, what's your average transaction size?" "Around $200. I just gave them a fun thing to do. Why don't you just take all of your items and all of your lists and just change whatever the hell the last digit is to a 7? So instead of $200, it's $207. Like would a $7 difference kill you for making a $200 purchase? The answer was no. No one even noticed. So on 1,000 transactions a month, when we slapped the 7 on the end of these things, it added $7,000 plus to their bottom line. Their clients didn't even blink; they didn't even notice. Right? Like $7. Oh yeah, prices are going up for everything anyways. Gas is going up. Food is going up. Well, whatever these things are, $7 is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, right? particularly now, it's like no one's going to really fault you for increasing your prices at this stage, right?
Well, absolutely, right? So, like, part of it was we do the math for the client, right? Like, hey, everybody else's price and their margin is around here. Your price is below this, and your margin's below that. You're wondering why the competitor's kicking the crap out of you on the advertising scene. It's because you literally just don't have as much money as them because you don't charge as much, right? So that is one of those like theoretical best practices, right? Like you charge a little more for your stuff. People have that presumption that it's a premium product, so that they're going to go, "Hey, this is better." They treat it better. They treat you better. They have a better relationship with you, and because you have more net money, you can actually screw up your marketing completely, right? "Oh yeah, that click cost 33 cents. Well, I'm going to bid $3.50. And because you don't care, right? You end up buying all the clicks anyways. No one else can compete with you. So it's kind of it's the cheat function of all cheat functions. That's how you win, right? You build enough of a war chest such that no one else can bid on your traffic, and then you get all the traffic.
That sounds evil. That sounds right up your alley.
That's almost hack of the week worthy, right? Just make enough money that you can just buy out all the traffic, and no one else can buy out any traffic. So I think that, like, when you suggest to your clients at this stage, at step 10, when we start talking about increasing prices, and they're on the fainting couch, getting the vapors, and you're fanning them. I guess the idea is that if you've done your earlier steps in this, if you've done your market dominating position, then, like you say, versus the Asian restaurants where people just run back and forth between the pricing, or the 2 coffee shops across the street or whatever. Right.
That's where they're going to engender some loyalty, where they're not going to lose customers out of it, right?
So, well, yeah, I mean, you're not going to lose all your customers as long as you've built that relationship, as long as you've got the market dominating position, as long as you have people, a reason for people to do business with you other than straight price, right? If it's just pure price and that's the only reason they're doing business with you, man, you're not in a good business space, right? And your business won't last long, right? Because they're going to just keep expecting you to keep your prices low or even reduce further when the whole world is going up, right?
So, yeah, God, I mean, the way it is right now, you got to increase your prices just to stay level, let alone make any money.
Well, like I live across the street from a restaurant, and I talk to the restaurant owner all the time. He's a good dude. His name is Tommy, and he was just telling me, like, the price of soy sauce went through the roof, the price of rice went through the roof, the price of the styrofoam containers, or like even the paper containers, this has just gone skyrocketing up. So just the price of everything is going up like crazy, but you can't like double your prices for like a little sandwich shop. No one's going to come. Right. So he has to, it's a balancing act between raising prices and doing that. But the real power behind increasing your prices, right, doesn't just mean increasing your prices. If you're looking at it just from what it says exactly, increase prices, if people were just to read all the chapters of the book and go, I can totally do that, they'd be missing half the battle, right? Part of increasing prices is also increasing the number of times people buy from you, right? And that number of times people buy from you doesn't even have to be a service that you yourself fulfill or you yourself deliver, right? So during one of the presentations, we talked about like landscaping as an example. And there's a landscaper, he's got the lawnmower, he's got all the stuff to make all your lawn nice and pretty, but he may or may not have the tools to chop down and trim your trees, right? He might not have the tree trimming stuff. He might not have the really long pole to go up or a big ass ladder to go up there and cut down the trees. Well, you're going to need that tree trimming guy eventually, because eventually your trees are going to grow and are going to fall over things and break things and destroy your house and destroy all the power lines. All your neighbors will love you so much. So one of those things for increasing pricing is setting up, going back to like chapter 4, where we talked about joint ventures, where you talk to other businesses and you offer their services to your clientele, right, as a way to increase your average order value, right? So if I'm a landscaper, there are like a million other things that I could be doing that could also help my clients, that they could very well be interested in, that I don't have to deliver myself personally, right? So actually, if I can find it here, give me 2 seconds. I have it in one of the slides where we talk about different things, more products, more services and frequency. So if I pull this one up here, give me 2 seconds. I got it right here. I'll even have like visuals and stuff. It's great. So when we talk about, here we go. Getting there. So I have the fancy screen. So because we talk about this all the time, here we go. So here's the landscaper. Like they could sell tree trimming, deck building, fencing, stonework, a pool, sprinklers, outdoor lights, outdoor kitchens. And they don't have to do these things, but because they're the trusted resource, they're the trusted guy, they may or may not perform any of these services, but they're in a prime position to make a professional recommendation, right? The guy does a solid job. What you do in everything is how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So if you do a good job with that one thing, then you might be doing a good job doing everything else you could refer to, right? And so that's another methodology by which to increase your prices. You can increase your prices by helping your clients buy more, right? And that's super important.
That sounds good. Anything where you don't have to actually deliver the work sounds really good.
Well, yeah, you don't have to deliver the work. The customer wants it, right? They're a hungry audience, right? I think there was this thing where we had this contest. It's like, okay, you can have one thing, only one thing that differentiated you from all of your competitors, and you could have it, but nobody else could have it. What would that one thing? What would your wish be that you could have? People are like, oh, better product or better service or better relationship or better this or better that or whatever. The strongest thing I think that won all of the battles back and forth was just, I would like a hungry audience. Right? If I have a hungry audience and I know I have what they want, right? I don't care how terrible my sandwich is. Everybody wants a stupid sandwich.
Yeah, right. It's like when you're in the airport at 2 a.m. and there's only one sandwich place open, they can pretty much charge whatever. You're hungry.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, exactly. So you'd pay whatever they ask. It's like, hey, these guys want this much. All right, I don't care. It's 2 a.m. Nothing else is open. Guess what? I'll pay $20 for that sandwich.
Yeah, or your car breaks down by the side of the highway, and the tow truck's like, "Well, it'll be $6,000 to tow it." You're like, "Okay, I guess I got to pay it. What am I
Well,
going to
yeah,
do? Leave my car here?"
you have no other choice, right? As long as your car is worth more than 6K, I guess you got to do it.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
If your car is like, an old busted thing, and the double the price of your car, you just fill the gas tank, then yeah, let's just let that one go.
Yeah, the way I am, I'm like, I'll sell you the car and then walk.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just depends on the pricing, right? There you go. But yeah, so increasing prices doesn't necessarily just mean increasing your actual pricing on your materials. It also means getting people to buy more from you on a regular basis. But that doesn't mean that you have to deliver the thing, right?
Mhm.
So, once people like being right, and they like being more right, right? And so if you ever get into a hobby, right? You ever once upon a time, I really got into tennis as an example, right? So the first thing you buy, tennis racket. That's the MVP. That's the minimum viable thing you require to play tennis racket, because everybody else who plays has the tennis ball. You go to the tennis rack, go to the tennis court, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
But then as you start to play, okay, well, now I want the hat, now I want the shoes, now I want the outfit, now I want the tennis ball launcher so I can practice returning stuff. And that gets real expensive over time, but because you keep hitting up that interested party, that hungry audience, right? What ends up happening is that they just keep on buying more stuff. And if you ask them to buy more stuff at the time of the initial purchase, I think the numbers is like 30-something% will just say, "Oh yeah, totally." Right. And this gives you the whole premise behind, would you like fries with that? Well, yeah, I want fries with that. Do you want to upgrade to a milkshake? Let me think about that. Yeah, sure. You know what? I deserve a milkshake today. Right. So when you ask them for all these things, right? I mean, think about McDonald's even, right? Yeah. McDonald's doesn't make the toys.
I often do think about McDonald's, yeah.
Well, they don't make the toys, right? They just distribute them. Right? So, would you like a toy with your Happy Meal? If the kid's sitting right there and the guy asks, "Hey, you want a toy?" What's the kid going to say? No, definitely not.
I wonder how many kids are like, "No, I got lots of toys. I don't need more toys.
I have lots of toys at home." No. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. But that's all there is to it. Like increasing the prices is increasing prices, but it's also increasing average order value, right? If you can increase the number of times people buy stuff from you, right? I think one of the guys I follow, his name is Carl Bryan, and he was talking about like a car wash. And this car wash, kept the price of the car wash exactly the same, but they just kept on adding more stuff to it. Like, here's a wax, and here's like an undercoating, and here's a clear coating for your car, and here's some Rain-X so that your windows can repel water, and da 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 da. There's a bunch of things that they could add to it, and then the average order value for the car wash just went to the moon, and it was insane. I'm like, wow, like a car wash is like $15-20. How the hell is your average order value $200? Well, they kept on adding stuff, right?
I just went into Build-A-Bear, actually just today. We're in the mall.
My gosh.
Yeah. And I was familiar with it. I'd seen the concept.
Yeah.
But I never actually really looked it over. We went in there with my girlfriend, and I was really surprised to look at the price of the bear. I was like, this bear's $25. I was like, I assume they're, custom building a bear for you there. It's like, it's going to be a lot more than $25. She goes, no. It's the outfits where they get you.
No, man, this is upsells and everything. So there's a little heart that you stick.
The heart, and then I saw the heart, exactly. Yeah.
And then what happens is that you get like the sound thing that you can record a sound bit on, and then stick it in the bear. Whenever you squeeze the bear says whatever the hell you say.
Yeah. They're selling you the bear. They're selling you the bear for $25. The bloody little heart, little plastic heart, probably 50 cents worth of stuff from China, was $6.
Yep, absolutely. But now my stuffed toy has a heart. Right?
Yeah. By the time the kid's invested in the bear and loves the bear and can't wait to see the bear, like, do you want your little bear to have a beating heart? Of course the kid's going to say yes.
Indiana Jones Temple of Doom style, just stick your hand in.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
So yeah, but then
what I did was
the bear has a skateboard, for God's sake.
Yeah. What I did was I went to the bin where all the hearts are, and I pushed them all down at once, so the whole bin was vibrating.
Nice.
That's
not creepy at all.
Yeah, so Halloween. Wait, yeah. Well, a lot of them are Halloween themed,
and you get a heart, and it's still beating. So,
so when you're doing increasing pricing, and it actually is just straight up increasing your pricing, is there a methodology to it? Like you just said, whack a 7 on everything. Is there percentages you look at? Is that a business to business, like an industry to industry difference on how you go about increasing pricing, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of like looking at the industry, you want to look at the comparables to know where you sit inside the industry, right? Because you have to know kind of where your position is. Um, if you want to decide, like, do you want to be on the more premium side, right, versus when you're not on the premium side, if you look at all the top major brands, the one thing that they all have in common is they all have really, really good margins, right? Look at, I mean, you clearly know I'm an Apple fanboy. Every single stupid thing I have is an Apple product because they all talk to each other. I'm like, this is great. But they all cost way the hell more than an equivalent piece on a PC. A PC would cost like a third of the price, right? But it doesn't have that crazy ecosystem, right, where everything talks to everything. I don't have to install drivers. It's like, oh yeah, just plug it in and look, oh, it turns on and it works, right? So in terms of like, the ones that do really well, like these guys always have really crazy margins. So if you want to have like success leaves clues, right? You look at the business, and the business show you good margins, and then they're allowed to do crazy advertising stunts, and then they crush everybody else because they can pay $3 for a 30-cent click. Well, that's why, right?
Right.
So it literally squeezes out the competition, and there's that's how you get that firepower where no one else can touch you.
So what have you actually seen with clients? Because again, this fear is that if they increase the prices by 25 cents, that everyone's going to stampede for the exits. What have you, with doing this with clients, what have you actually seen? Like you said, what did you say that it was, if you increase your prices by 10%, you have to lose 25% of your customers to break even? Was that what you said?
Yeah. So we were doing the math for somebody. I'll pull it back up again. And it was just increasing your pricing. So here, I'll whip up the screen. Here you go. And it was, so there's 6 ways to increase your money. So one of them was increase your price, right? So if you took something that was $100 and you made it $110, right? That $10 is all profit, right? Because your cost of goods stays the same, so it doesn't change. So it ends up being a 33% profit increase. So that $10 was only 10%, ends up to 33% profit because of your cost of goods. So to break even, right? So to make $1,000 of profit at $100, I have to sell 33.3 widgets. But to make that same 1,000 of profit on $110, I only have to sell 25, right? So you test the increase on a small scale to gauge your customer's reaction, right? And there's no faster, easier way to generate additional revenue. Like even if you break even, you're still ahead. Just think about what I just said. Even if you break even, you're still ahead.
Yeah, because you're doing less work.
You're doing less work, which means that if you've got people contracted, you're paying less hours.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So depends on how you have your staff and how you have those structures in place. But yeah, you're also, your exposure is less, right? I knew this guy who was doing a few $1 million a year in revenue and only bringing home like 50, 60K. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of exposure, a lot of risk. People dream about hitting 6-7 figures. This guy was doing, again, 2 million almost. And he was only bringing home 50, 60 grand. Like my question, and this was a terrible question, was what happens if your business screws up and it goes sideways? You don't have a lot of wiggle room and you're barely taking home anything for $2 million almost worth of liability and risk, right? So when you look at that business, yes, it makes, and there's a saying, right? It's the revenue feeds the ego, right? Profit feeds your family. And my gosh, like 2 million of revenue and only 60 grand take home, like that's insane, right? That's a lot of work, right? So, and a lot of risk. So
for him with a little price increase, then he could actually be reducing his revenue but increasing his take home.
Absolutely.
Would the revenue even decrease? Math's not my strong suit.
Well, the revenue could potentially go up. It depends on how many customers he loses.
Right.
So the revenue could go up. But if he makes more profit margin per widget that he sells, right, it reduces the amount of exposure that he has on the open market, because you have to deliver less things, right? So just think of it as something as simple as number of times you have to cross the road to deliver your product, right? So since you're delivering fewer products, you have to cross less streets, you're going through less intersections, there's less chance of some guy barreling through the stop sign and smoking your delivery van, right? So
Yeah.
you've just exposed yourself to X percentage less risk. So, maybe you can negotiate your insurance premiums to go down. Maybe you can negotiate more other things. You can negotiate to put some of those staff members on, not instead of salary. It's just, okay, well, we're going to only hire you for the hours that you're going to work. Here, we'll get you these hours. You get more favorable positions in your company, period, right? Overall, it's a better place to be. It's a better play.
Yeah. Not only am I an idiot, but I'm also exceedingly lazy. So this really appeals to me.
So yeah, if you increase the prices, you shoo away all the bad ones, right?
Yeah, there's that too. So
the funny thing is, it's the customers who nickel and dime you who are always the pain in the butt ones, right? Like they're the ones who cause you the most strife. They're the ones who cause you the most amount of pain, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're always the first to go. You're like, oh my God, you're going to increase your prices. I can't work here no more. I can't come here no more. I can't buy from you no more. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It's the customers that demand the most attention, shall we say, that are the ones you can most easily lose, but they're taking up all your time.
Yep, absolutely.
Definitely experienced that when I was running a coffee shop. It was like, oh no, that complaining customer's got so mad he never came back. Like, great, the shop feels better, feels nicer place to be in without his vibe around.
I was gonna say better vibe already, right? So technically, you increase the level of ambiance by kicking the customer out, right? So
exactly, and actually, they were this particular customer was actually scaring other customers away. So hey, win-win. So, but I was asking before, like in terms of when the rubber meets the road, you've done this with customers. What have you actually seen? Do like you allowed for a 25% drop in customers,
yes,
and transactions? But do you actually see that? That's quite an extreme drop. Or do you actually, when the rubber meets the road, when you actually do it, do you tend to see that kind of fall off?
Well, what happens is that you just have to let people know, right, what's going on, right? So there's a framework we use in NLP, okay, and the framework is pre-frame, frame, reframe, right? And the funny thing is, it's the same formula for trust. I think we talked about this in one of the previous episodes. The formula of trust is, say what you're going to do, right? Tell them that you're doing it while you're doing it. And then after you're done, remind them that you promised them you get it done, and oh, look, it's done.
Right.
And that whole pre-frame, frame, reframe works like that. So when you pre-frame customers, hey guys, we're sorry, the whole world pricing is going up, right? To be able to keep up with the times and to keep up paying our bills, the rent's going up, the prices are going up, we have to increase our prices. We're sorry. Here's a heads up, right? Then you increase the prices and say, hey, we promised we'd only increase prices this much. Guess what? We only increased it this much. Cool. And then afterwards, thank you so much for your support, your ongoing support throughout the years, we're maintaining our quality. Hopefully, our sandwiches that you've been buying from us for years are still just as good as they were before, if not better. Right. So there you go. And so if you follow those frameworks, if you follow those structures, if you give people ample time to realize, hey, the prices are going to go up, right? At which point, the business will grow as well, right? Which means that you can also then afford to buy more marketing and advertising, which will net new customers. And if those new customers convert at the higher prices, they're going to be better quality customers for you in the long run anyway.
And then you get a bunch of new customers who didn't know you increased your prices. You increase your prices again because they didn't know you just increased them.
As many times as required, right?
And it just spirals.
To keep up with the pace of everybody else, and to be able to increase the growth of the company, right? Because if you don't increase, right, slowly you're dying over time because of inflation and the reduction of your spending ability on your dollar, right? So if you're not increasing prices through just straight up pricing, right, or cross sell, upsell, downsell, or joint venture, or however you're increasing the prices of your product or service, you're going to end up dying out anyways, right? Because you won't be able to keep up with everybody else, right? And if some new fancy thing comes out, the research and development, all the stuff that needs to be added to this thing to make it work, you won't be able to afford the R&D or the new product or the new license or the new whatever it takes to be able to get that new thing up and rolling.
But like with customers you've done this with, like, what do they see? Do the customers fall off, or do the customers mostly stick around anyway?
For the ones that we've tried, we've done this in the medical space arena. We've done this in e-commerce. We've done this with housing. We've done this with we've done this with pharmaceuticals. We didn't even notice a drop off.
Yeah.
Like people didn't even notice. Like on the $7 example where we stuck a 7 at the end of everything,
Yeah.
nothing changed. We got the same number of orders as last time, as
Nobody
expected.
even commented. Eh?
No one even noticed. Like I don't think it was a blip on the radar. Like
Mhm.
no one noticed, right? And so what that did for that client was it added an extra $7,000 a month minimum, right? If they only bought one thing, it was 7,000. If they bought two things, it went from 7 to 14, right? Dollars.
Mhm.
So
Right.
if they bought three things, hey, that's an extra $21 for doing that next to nothing, right? So all that excess money that came in, they were able to use that money to then, either pay for more advertising to then acquire more clients, or even hire a new staff member, right? For an extra $7,000 a month, you can hire, a couple of people out of there.
Brilliant.
Right.
Well, it sounds pretty good to me. It sounds really appealing.
So that's all there is to it. Like, I mean, oh man, there was this one bakery we were dealing with, right?
Yeah.
And they were so proud. Like, this is our best selling item, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been selling this item for 37 years, whatever, long ass time. And it's just like, guys, I did the math. Every time you sell one of these cupcakes, you lose 17 cents. And they're like, oh, but we can't increase you can't even increase the price 17 cents to break even to sell the damn cupcake. Man, you have to increase the pricing on these things. Finally got them to increase it by a quarter, 25 cents. That means they're not making, how much money are they making off of that? What, 8 cents every time they sell a cupcake or a muffin or what the hell it is? I'm like, oh my God, you're only making 8 cents? This is terrible. Oh man. But the thing is, because, they were, they're not losing money anymore. They still use it as a loss leader. People came to buy the muffin, and then, you just waft the smell of fresh bread towards people, and people just buy stuff. Right. So you can definitely do that. Right. It's just that you have to look at the structure by which you do it in. Right. If you look at, even just a grocery store, hey, milk's on sale, but milk's all the way at the back of the store. And to get to the milk, I got to go past all the breads, all the cereal aisle, all the oatmeal, all the coffee products, all the stuff I'm going to put milk in. Right. Mm-hmm. So it ends up just, being what it is. Right. So it's just like, oh, well, so if you're just hell bent on making those muffins as cheap as possible, fine, but stick them in the back so they have to waft through all the other wonderful smelling things to get there. It's like, just turn your tiny bakery into a Costco. I think what was the most expensive vehicle to operate is the Costco shopping cart. So and they I swear, this. Every time I step my foot in there, it's a cost of $300. I'm like, I hate this place. So
yeah. It's and of course they got the Costco hot dogs they refuse to increase the prices on, but that's their loss leader, right?
Absolutely. People like, what do you mean? Like, you lose money every time you sell a hot dog at Costco? Absolutely. When we're proud to do it, because the members keep coming back, they keep buying more, right? And that's basically all there is to it.
I noticed last time I was there, they got it set up now where you punch in your order on a screen and do it's like a vending machine, but instead a person hands you your hot dog instead of a vending machine. So I think I'm trying to they might actually turn a profit now. They're not hiring people to run the tills anymore.
They're still losing. They're still losing money. Actually, the funny thing is, if you were to buy the damn hot dogs and buns and all the materials inside from Costco themselves, it would cost more than buying it from the stupid stand.
Oh my God.
So, but they're happy, right? Like, I mean, there's quotes you can see on all the different social media platforms, everything on like LinkedIn and Facebook and everything, like how much money did Costco lose selling hot dogs in the hot dog thing? But then if you also look at their year-over-year growth, their membership is up, their average order, people buying stuff is up. The hot dogs are consistently losing money, but they don't care, right? It brings people in the door.
Yeah, I've gone to Costco just for a hot dog and managed to make it out there with that. Like, you go and get the hot dog and you see how long the lineups are, and you're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. I've done that where I walked in, got the hot dog, looked at the lineup, went nope. But I've also got there, standing in line, going, oh, I really need more cereal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then that's how it starts, right? And then you operate the most expensive vehicle in the world, the Costco shopping cart. And yeah, I think that's the only thing that actually was worth it from Costco for us, because everything else, you buy so much of it, like it would just go bad before you ate it all. Right?
That was the problem. I found with going to Costco. I went there for my business, but you'd be there and be like, geez, that's a real good price on like 2 kilograms of Asiago dip.
Right, which is only going to survive 3.5 days, right?
Yeah, and then we crack it open on the drive home, and then goes in the fridge, and then a couple days later it's gone bad. And quite a time, I wasn't going to buy Asiago dip anyway, so I didn't save money on the cheaper
No.
Asiago dip. I bought 2
No.
kilograms of something I was never going to buy in the first place.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's always Costco size, right? So like, oh, good, that's like not small at all, right? So yeah,
I definitely need to have some kids so I can make that worth it.
Yeah, but even with kids, the only thing that we ever had that was worth it was the freaking Cheerios, because my kids would chomp through Cheerios like crazy. When my son was a baby, I think if we just added like just for fun, like I think my brother challenged us just to put like Cheerios in the line like Pac-Man, and just watch the kid just eat the Cheerios like Pac-Man. And eventually, what happened was he bought this Pac-Man hat, like a costume, stuck it on the kid. Put Cheerios in a row and watched him eat the Cheerios like the little dots, and it was friggin' hilarious. So
that's an Instagram video if I've ever heard one, or a TikTok video.
Sadly, I don't think like every time we didn't get it on camera, he ate all the dots, and every time we whipped the camera out, stopped eating the dots. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he's going, what's going on? Yeah,
no, he couldn't even see the kid. We're like hiding it. He doesn't see it. He's just, I guess he just got full, right? So.
That's adorable. Okay, well, we have crossed the 2 minute 45 or the 45-minute mark, I should say. And let's bring this in for a close. But you said you got a hack of the week for us. What is your hack of the week? What is Earl's patented, customized, rootin' tootin' hack of the week?
So I don't know if I've ever given this one. Did I ever give the Starbucks hack yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
but if you have, I've forgotten about it, and so has our audience. Let's hear it.
So we'll give 2 hacks then, one on each side of the coin, right? So the original hack I gave earlier was increase your prices so that you'd have all this excess money. Take all the excess money and use that to then fund your advertising and marketing projects, so that you would get net more clients. And because you got more clients, you would then be able to again spend more money, and it becomes that virtuous circle where you're spending more and more, and you're outspending all your competitors on all the traffic, right? But there's the complete opposite. If you take that entire model and flip it on its head, I don't know if you guys know how Starbucks buys their beans. They actually end up buying the bottoms of the barrels of all the coffee things. And I don't know if you've tasted it, but Starbucks coffee tastes burnt, right? So they would buy the bottoms of all the barrels, mix all the beans together. You're not supposed to really do that, but if you burn them all, it tastes the same, right? So that's how they get that custom flavor. It is burn them all. So
every coffee connoisseur I've ever met, anyone who was like a real coffee snob, within the first 5 minutes of the conversation, they'll mention how Starbucks coffee tastes burnt. I can't tell. I don't know.
I can tell. And I'm not a coffee snob, but I can just tell because I go to enough fancy coffee shops. I'm like, wow, this tastes really good. Why
ran a coffee shop. I can't tell.
There you go. But what did we learn from that? It's really simple. Go the exact opposite direction. Bid on freaking everything, but bid really, really cheap, right? So this is now, let's go back to advertising. Bid really, really cheap. And after all your competitors have burnt up all their click-throughs for whatever price point you've got to that, you can get a bunch of stuff for bargain bin pricing for cheap, because once they've burnt out of their stuff, well, your bids kick in because your bid is greater than zero, right? So basically it's the Starbucks methodology. We do this for some of our technologies where we just bid like on everything, like everything in the kitchen sink, like every keyword imaginable, right? So you put in one keyword into the machine, it poops out like 700. Bid on all 700, but just really cheap. Eventually some of them hit because people's budgets run out, and then we get our clicks through at like a bargain basement rate. So there's 2 ways to go about doing this, right? And if you want to do both, you set up 2 separate campaigns. You have the overspend campaign where damn well you're spending more than everybody else, and then you have the underspend campaign where you have all the other keywords, right? And you just nab everything, and then the world is your oyster, and then no one can touch you at that point, right?
Brilliant.
So you find on the over and the under.
Do people set their budget at the beginning of the month and then run out by the end of the month? Yep,
that's how most people do it. They set their budget, they run out, and then they run out of clicks, and their traffic goes like this, and it falls back down again.
And that's when you jump in with your cheapos.
That's right. Then you use the burnt coffee technique.
Nice.
Secret burnt coffee technique.
The burnt coffee technique. I like it. Well, my Bluetooth headset has just warned me that its battery is low, so we better wrap this up.
All right. Well, there you go. This is our first live on everything. I think we're live on Twitter, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Instagram, and we're live on Facebook today.
Perfect.
So
have we got the email set up? Is there an email set up?
Not yet. So we will.
Okay. So probably most of the people watching right now, you can contact us through LinkedIn or through Facebook. And you know who we are. We're Earl and the Idiot. I'm Dan Newman, for the record. And if you want to ask us any questions at all, we'll be happy to present them to our resident Earl for answering.
Sounds good.
And that's always an option. So this has been episode, we don't know, 13 or 14 of Earl and the Idiot. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Earl.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
See ya.